Hey guys, in this video I'm going to give you a basic understanding of how a neural network works via deep learning. So it's a simplified model of deep learning and how the neural network is trained. And I'll also address a big question in AI, which is when is there going to be a tipping point or a singularity? Where, as you probably know, the big question is when is AI going to reach general intelligence or super artificial intelligence or super AI? Okay, so before we get into any details, I'm just gonna give a very rough overview of how the system works, okay? So here in the middle you have the neural network with layers of neurons, okay? And then you have an input signal. This could be, for example, vision. And then it goes through the network, the signal, and then it comes out as an output signal or an action. So this is how the neural network can take action towards a goal. And that brings us to the next component of the system. That is that the system uses a human set goal or a programmed goal that it optimizes for through a training process. And we'll talk about how that works as well. And also the training process refines the use of the neural networks, which then serves as a database. And the bigger the database becomes and the more refined it gets through training, the more accurate the prediction will be of a correct path through the neural network to obtain the best output via any given input signal. So basically, you could say that if you want to use the human as a comparison, then this is the brain and this is the eyes, so where you get input, and then this would be the action. This would be like your hands, how you take action in the world or manipulate a certain situation. And then in the brain, so to speak, you also have a set goal that you're working towards. And you have a database of how the world works. Let's talk a bit more about the details now, okay, of the process. So how do the neurons work? So each neuron can be assigned a numeric value that is pattern sensitive, so sensitive to a pattern. And then the input signal is always distributed out to all the neurons, and the one that has the strongest correlation light up and get activated. And that way, when the pattern recognition is strongest throughout each neuron of the network, it will create a path through the whole system, and then it will come out with an output action, okay? This process is called forward propagation, okay, and it creates action, okay? And then the training process is done through backwards propagation, which is basically an evaluation of the result. So it compares the output with how it affects the goal, and then it will either reinforce this path or weaken it by lowering the numeric value. That way you could say the goal is used to rank or reinforce a certain path. And now let's look at a simple AI system that is training itself through neural networks. And this is like a tennis game, as you can see. So in this case, the input signal of the neural network would be the coordinates of the ball, and the output signal, which is an action of the neural network, would be the position or the coordinates of the rackets, which are the green lines on each side. So it's pretty simple. If you think of it as an x-axis and a y-axis, all the neural network has to train itself to figure out is that when the y-axis of the racket or the green line is the same as the y-axis value of the ball, then the game will continue and the goal will be achieved. So in this case, the goal will be to keep the ball in play, which is achieved by equalizing the y-axis values. Now to the big question about when there's going to be a tipping point or singularity. So the question, in my opinion, is what happens when AI can set up its own goals and build its own AI systems and neural networks, plus when it gets access to the full global computational power via the internet. And when it gains access to all human databases on all hard drives in the world and analyzing it and being able to understand it. And if you imagine that the goal of this AI is to understand everything in the universe so it can achieve anything in the universe that it wants, if that's the goal, that should be at everybody's concern. And please reply in the comments what you think, or if you think this is relevant or not, this question. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.